Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Mahaba Speaks to the Heart, and today I want to talk to you about communication in relationships. I talk to men and women all the time, and one of the main topics of discussion that comes up most often is a lack of communication, having communications within the relationship. Now, I think that a lot of the reasons that there are communication issues with couples today is the fact that men and women think differently. Men tend to kind of hold things on the inside, while women tend to be more emotional and to really want to put their feelings out there. Now, let's be clear, just because a man may not want to talk about his feelings does not mean that he's less emotional. Um, Men may want to hold things on the inside because they feel that's a way of showing strength. They don't want to be crying and acting weak. But I think that with relationships, when there is a communication issue, it is about a disconnect somewhere in the relationship. Now, one of the first things that couples need to understand is their communication styles. Sometimes someone in the relationship may be passive. They communicate in a passive way. They don't want to argue. They kind of hold some things on the inside rather than really put it out there. And they really pretty much just go along to get along. And then others in the relationships may be more assertive. And in being assertive, they really put out their how they feel. They're using some I statements. I don't like how you made me feel, or I want to have a conversation about it. And then there's other ways of communicating, which is being aggressive. And when you're aggressive, you really pretty much being tuned out because you're being loud, you're pointing fingers, and you really can't get anywhere in the relationship when you're being aggressive like that. But when you understand your communication styles, then you can know how to proceed forward. And proceeding forward means, not having distorted thoughts. And let me explain this. Distorted thoughts means that, you kind of jump into conclusions here. You're assuming certain things that may actually not be happening. You start off mind reading, and mind reading is about your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. They come in and you assume automatically something negative, and that person may not be thinking anything negative at all, but you've taken the liberty to mind read, to act like you know what's really going on in the other person's mind when you really don't. And so the distortion comes in as a form of you have twisted thoughts. It's distorted because you're thinking something is one way when it's really not. And so it's not good to assume anything. Get the facts. Be willing to be able to take the time that's needed to really listen to what your mate is really saying to you. And then once you decide to listen, the next step and great communication in a relationship is being present and in the moment. Now, let me explain that. Being present means that you come to the table making eye contact. Here's a very good point here. It's so much going on in society today that couples are not really talking to each other, but they're talking at each other because of all the distractions. The phone is a distraction. The TV is a distraction. The games are a distraction. There are just so many distractions that are out there. To you, a lot of times, couples are not giving each other that one-on-one, intimate uh, contact that's needed to keep the lines of communication going. But when you're present and in the moment, you're meeting your partner halfway. It's non-judgmental. You're open. Your eyes are open. Your ears are open. Your heart is open to hear what's being said and to really feel with your heart, your mind, your body. When you're able to do that, that brings about a connection. That brings about communication. It's like you're plugged in, and that's what you're trying to do. When you're plugged in, the juice is flowing, and when the juice is flowing, the lights come on. Okay, and when the lights is on, when the lights are on, you're able to communicate. And when you're able to communicate, the relationship begins to grow. It begins to grow because you can see each other clearly. And being able to see when you're not walking in the dark, you're not in the blind, but you're able to see. Those are just two very important steps toward great communication. Um, I am Mahaba Speaks from the Heart, and I look forward to our next session. Thank you, and I send you love and peace.